Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to the SLT millimeter wave learning series, our free EMF educational series discussing 5G radiation and millimeter wave. Today's topics include the effects of EMF and millimeter waves presented by Lloyd, the effects of RF and millimeter wave sources presented by Magda. Then we have Rob and Bruce are going to introduce us to the millimeter wave meter and the difference of 5G frequencies and measurement protocols. And we have Keith, who's going to do new discoveries of millimeter wave sources. And then last but not least is Orem, and he will be doing the hunting millimeter wave towers in Southern California. So without any delay, let's let Lloyd start his presentation.
Thank you, Tony. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Can everybody see that? Can everybody see that?
Yes, Lloyd.
Yeah, great.
That's good.
Thank you. Okay.
Excuse me, Lloyd. For those of you who just joined, please mute yourselves. Thank you very much. Keep your microphones muted so we don't have background noise. Okay, Lloyd, sorry.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about EMFs and electric U. But first, I just want to, well, thank you for Rob and your team, Tony, for the invitation to speak today, and just thank you for the work you've been doing. I mean, the work on this 5G meter is absolutely amazing, because I've been talking about this for a while, EMFs, and I didn't think we'd have anything this good this quick. So this is really very, very impressive. And I want to just also thank Orem and Magda here, because you've been doing outstanding work too for so long. And, you know, if it wasn't for people like yourselves, then we wouldn't have this awareness about EMFs, which we now have. And we'd all like it to, you know, be more awareness about this. But yeah, so it's really important, really, really important, the work that all you guys are doing. And so I just want to talk about why I'm here. So, because not everybody knows me. So what happened with me is one day in 2002, I answered my cell phone and I began to experience these symptoms. And these symptoms quickly became debilitating symptoms. And I was getting the symptoms not only when I was using the cell phone, but the computer, which didn't even have Wi-Fi, radio in the car, even the corded landline. So I was really, really hyper sensitive, and it took me best part of 10 years to get my health back on track. And then in 2009, I shared a video on YouTube, which was just a bit of a moan at the time. And it was like, okay, well, this happened to me, you know, with EMFs and cell phone and whatnot. And it could happen to you. And more importantly, it could happen to your children, particularly because these EMFs are really, really bad news for children. And all of this just kind of blossomed into books and online courses and summits and things, which I've been following. And this documentary, which is my latest project, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. So I want to talk about electric U. And so it's going to be brief because it's a huge topic, this, obviously. But I'm going to keep it very, very, very brief. But what's become clear to me on this 20+ year journey that I've been on with really since this all started, this day in 2002, is that we are electromagnetic beings. We are these energetic beings. And I put electric U on the slide here because this kind of conveys the idea, okay? Because mainstream medicine, as I'm sure most of you that are attending are aware, is almost exclusively focused on biochemistry. And the biochemistry is important, obviously, But what sits above this biochemistry is energy and information. So this is a little quote, which you can't see all of because, yeah, we've got a lot of people on. But this is actually a quote from James Ushman's book, Energy Medicine. And it's from W. Ross 80. And he was a distinguished neurology professor who had this 50-year career in electromagnetic field research, one of my heroes. And he talks about that cells maintain their organized society. That's to say the cells in our body maintain their organized society by whispering together in this faint and private language, and that these whispers travel as chemical, electromagnetic, electronic, photonic, thermal, heat, and phonic, as in sound. And I really like this quote because it's very profound. It's kind of almost poetic, I find. But what he was saying was that, well, one of the things he was saying, my interpretation, is that health is about communication. And in this case, what he was talking about was this communication between the cells, communication amongst the cells. And this communication takes place in different ways. That's what he was saying, chemical and electronic and electromagnetic, etc. And what he was also saying was that if this communication is disrupted, then we get dis-ease or disease. But what the science also tells us is that it's not just about communication between and within the cells, that in fact we are surrounded by this energy field, personal energy field, and we're calling it, or science is calling it since about 20 years, the biofield. And as Dr. Beverly Rubik explains, it's this organizing field of energy within and around the body, and it's responsive to everything in our environment. And each of us have this biofield. So the biofield is not a new thing. So some of you may have never heard of this, but I'm sure some of you have heard of the aura, and it's kind of the same thing. And, you know, the ancient civilizations have been talking about this since time immemorial. And the thing is, it's a very real thing. So it's one of those things that tends to get poo-pooed, but it's very real, and it can actually be measured, a bit like EMFs, a bit like this new meter. We've got these frequencies, we can measure it, and we can measure the biofield. So why is the biofield so important? Well, the research suggests it's a very important governor of our health. I actually believe the biofield governs all our physiology and biochemistry, the whole shebang, the biofield. And therefore, why is this relevant to this conversation here that we're having today about EMFs and 5G? Well, we know that man-made electromagnetic fields like cell phone radiation, Bluetooth, smart, all these forms of wireless, almost certainly electric fields, magnetic fields, probably dirty electricity, all of this impact our biofield, that they distort our biofield. And Dr. Beverly Rubik, she's done the research on this, and it shows that these EMF exposures distort the biofield, they shrink the biofield. And what's found to be the case is that even people that are not sensitive to EMFs, that their biofield is being impacted by these technologies. And I mean, there's not just Dr. Beverly Rubik who's able to measure this, and there's lots of practitioners around the world now which have technology that you can go and see, and you can actually see your biofield. But the truth is that none of us would be here talking about this, talking about EMFs, if no one was getting symptoms. You know, no matter what the science said, and it says a lot, obviously, it's all about the health effects of these EMFs. That's what matters. That's all that matters. Because anything else is just, it's interesting, it's fascinating, but it's really because it's how it's impacting us and living things. And obviously there's a lot of science and anecdotal evidence to support this understanding that there are these adverse biological effects, not just on humans, but on pretty much all living things. And we're getting a clearer understanding as time goes by, exactly what that is. And I'm not going to lay all that out, obviously, because that would be a long presentation, keeping it very short. But I, just go to the Safe Living Technology website, or Magda Havas' website, or Aura Miller's brilliant website, or my website, or there's places where you can go, but don't Google it. There's places where you can go get this information. And so what we have is, on the one hand, we've got this emerging research that man-made electromagnetic fields are impinging our biofield and therefore impinging our health. Yeah, that's what's important. That's why I'm talking about this. It's impinging our biofield, interesting, but it's impinging our health. Again, because the health, as I'm saying, of your biofield is the primary determinant of your physical health. So the good news is there are so many ways that we can restore the health of our biofield. And that's what I've been focusing on for over 10 years now, personally, and increasingly publicly sharing this information. I've written a best-selling book which is called Healing with Vibration. And I've done multiple online summits, and all of these adverse health effects are first and foremost an energetic problem. So if we think back to the quote I shared from W. Ross 80, it's almost like the whispers are not being heard. The whispers are getting lost. The whispers in British English, what we call Chinese whispers, it's like a parlor game. But the whispers are turning into gossip, out junk, misinformation. And so the solution is obviously EMF awareness and mitigation, because this is really a way of understanding this energy, measuring this energy, dealing with this energy, reducing our exposure to this energy. But it's also about embracing that you are an energetic being and all that that entails, because it's easy to say, but it's actually something quite profound. And so what I want to share is what I've been working on to help people embrace that truth is a documentary, a free documentary, which is coming out in October, over 4 days. And with the help of EMF experts like Magda Havas here and Rob Medsinger, I'll be sharing my story, the reality of our electromagnetic world, and what I've experienced, what I experience, because curiously, I'm actually more sensitive than ever, and yet I'm not living day in, day out with the symptoms. And I'm going to be delving into the science behind this energetic approach to health with people like Dr. Bruce Lipton, Lynn McTaggart, Dr. Roland McCratey from HeartMath, and over 30 experts in all, all with a view to sharing this energetic approach to health, which incorporates this the rigorous EMF protection and many of the principles of the Building Biology Institute, but also this innate power that we all have, this ability to work with energy and self-heal. So again, it's totally free. There will be a paid version with bonuses, a bit like the summits I've done in the past and that other people do, for those people that want to own it. We start promoting from the 8th of September. So we're full on, creating this thing at the moment. So if you're watching this and you've got a list of subscribers, followers, I'd love it if you could share this with your followers. You can sign up on, I put the URL on the page here, electricsense.com/trailer. And if Tony wants to share that, please do. And you can see the trailer. So I think it's a 5-minute trailer, which is on that page, and you can get a sense of what this is about and what you can expect. So yeah, again, so that's so that's what I wanted to share, and purposely kept it brief. And so I'm going to stop my screen share and pass the floor over to the next person. And thank you,
Lloyd. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. All the way from England today.
No, from France.
From France.
Yeah,
sorry.
Don't be fooled by the accent.
My apologies, Lloyd. But thank you very much for joining us. We really, really appreciate it. And I know you're unable to stay with us for the rest of the presentations. So have a good evening as well in France.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care. Thank you.
Bye.